and figure out and choose a career that firstly resonates with you, but then at the same time maybe something that also challenges you, which can expand the skill sets that you have. I can summarize it in these sort of 5 key aspects, but obviously there can be more criteria that you may want to add. I know a lot of people talk about, becoming rich as a goal, becoming famous, perhaps doing something that intrinsically brings you more happiness and that's better for the social good. But initially, I think at that stage, we're not trying to choose a career. It's all about understanding who you are, what are your likes and dislikes. And I know that this sounds perhaps very, obvious, but it can take an individual quite a lot of time to understand who your core being is and, where your value system is, what your core interests are. And finally, obviously, what are your skill sets? And that can help you decide what your core being is. And hopefully then you will be able to choose your future career. Sometimes it's not always necessary to, think about just the monetary aspect. There are so many non-monetary factors that you will gain when you take up a work shadowing opportunity or an internship or just volunteering with your, local community, perhaps. So all in all, an unpaid opportunity actually sometimes can give you much more than a paid one as well. So don't completely, cut it out. Evaluate and assess it. If you have the time, if you have nothing better to do apart from crushing candies on your phone, definitely take up that unpaid opportunity. Restart at entry level, absolutely okay, not a bad thing. When I decided to study for my master's abroad, I knew things would be different, so I couldn't then only expect to pursue a job or a career a level above. I did have to start again, and it's great, I think, looking back. Big brands on your CV, I'd say that it depends. For me, it did not. Initially, like I said, it did affect me when a lot of my peers and colleagues were joining some companies which were the big brands, or it was an all-consuming thought. But it doesn't necessarily have to. Once you start working in an organization, you'll immediately realize if you're the right fit with that culture or not, and it doesn't always have to be a big brand. Ikigai chart. If you haven't come across this, it's a great, very handy tool. Again, do spend some time by yourself or with a group of friends who you know well, who know you well, who know your interests well, and have a discussion. Have a discussion about this. Try and find out where do you fit. I know this feels like this is all that is. Maybe there are more aspects and elements to this, but I think it's a great start. So you can try and answer those questions and find out where do you fit, what are the things that you do that will fit into these brackets. Above all of this is ask and talk to people. When you're making those decisions, the more perspectives you get from everyone, the more informed you are. And always remember that just because someone's given you advice and given you suggestions doesn't mean you have to follow all of it. So personally, I'll go out to say 10, 20 people when I'm making a decision like this, because I know their feedback will be valuable. But ultimately, the decision is mine own. But the important thing is I've listened to all those perspectives, I've digested it, and based on their experience and knowing myself and what I need, I then am able to decide the next step in the future. So please do reach out to either someone in your family, colleagues, peers, mentors, university, academics, your career service. Do not just sit in a bubble and try and answer those questions in a quick and hasty manner, because these are going to, really the next decade or so for you guys. One option comes to mind, which is taking up personal passion projects. And what I mean by that is the least that you can do is with the resources that you have, your laptop, all the facilities and the softwares available. Just take up a passion project related to the subject area and complete it. Build like a project portfolio, which can hopefully help you then reach out to employers, even with an opportunity to say, listen, I've done this. I'd also say upskill digitally, because when you do some of this, you want to be able to share it in an easy format. So, create those passion projects, build that online portfolio, perhaps even on LinkedIn, and then try and reach out to share that, you've taken the initiative in your free time and you worked on this small, effort of yours. you do have to prioritize and think of where you want to put in that time and effort. So generally internships are at least a semester, I'd say 2 to 3 months, unless you're thinking of work shadowing, which perhaps might be a fit if you want the variety within a month, just to try and understand what is it to work shadow as in a marketing agency, what is it to work shadow in a retail job. Basically, work shadowing are more tighter, shorter, perhaps experiences that you can get, but you do need the right contacts. They should agree to you coming in and being an observer, trying to figure out what the on-the-job environment looks like. When it comes to internships, that has to build, and add to your CV and your career, because you are studying a particular subject and you want to try and take an internship where you can do those projects which are related to your subject. So when you graduate, if you did 3 internships in 3 years of your undergraduate degree, you had 3 good projects you worked for at 3 organizations, and that really puts you in a good stead when you're looking for jobs on graduation.